Hello and welcome to the podcast that we call Mentored, which is a live look at me, the mentor, mentoring my mentee. That was so many words. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I don't like the word mentee. My name's Alyssa.
My name is Willows, and this is the idea, is that I am a business owner, and Alyssa is a newer business owner.
Just a baby.
And you've become reliant on me. You got to say this part, because then it seems like I'm just,
That's
you know
true.
what I mean?
I do rely on you for a lot, actually. That's true.
Thank you for saying that. And you are the best employee I've ever had. No shade against my other employees if you're listening to this, but yeah. So you work for and now manage two of my companies, and you often come to me with business mentoring questions because you started your business. Really, this summer was kind of your first time really doing the business.
Yeah.
So, and you come to me often with business questions, and we thought that maybe this would be good content for the internet. So, yeah.
Also, we're both very nostalgic. And so to look back on and be like, she didn't even know that yet? That's crazy.
Yeah, I like to document a lot of stuff that document the journey and the life. So that's
and it is a journey.
It is in
It
fact a
has
journey. So if you're listening to this is we're calling episode 0, which is just context of the podcast. So anytime if you're listening from the future, hi. I'll probably send this link to people to kind of give them the context of what this podcast is all about. So we're just gonna talk briefly about kind of how we met, how we got into business, and where we're going and what we wanna do.
Yeah.
So I started my first business when I was 18 years old. It was a winery. So we were in the wine business. We have a farm where we grow grapes. We crush them and make wines, and we make fruit wines and wine coolers. And then now we've been doing that for about 8 years, and now we've come up on we have like opening a restaurant and a tasting room, and we do a lot of events, and we're in retailers and wholesalers and whatever. And then last year, about coming up on 2 years ago, I acquired another business that manufactures rubber stamps. And so I acquired that business for over 6 figures, and both these businesses do more than hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I do them both basically full time. I do one full time. I do the stamps full time, and then I do the winery more than full time.
Yeah. That one's a lifestyle.
Yeah, and then I always tell people I work for like 18 hours a day, and then the other 6 hours I drink. But yeah, so I've been doing that for the last. I'm 28 now. I've been doing that for the last 10 years of my life, just kind of building a business from scratch, and then acquiring a business and running that, whatever. And yeah, and if you want to.
Talk about me.
Yeah.
Well, I am nowhere near as impressive. I started a bakery with my sister, I guess technically 2 years ago, but it's like a seasonal thing right now. So I would, like you're right. I think like a year. We've been doing it full time. That's like the extent of my business, really. We are in the startup phase. We are just getting going, figuring things out. Hence needing a mentor because I don't know what I'm doing. I've been an employee my entire adult life. Trained in Germany as a baker, did a lot of different baking jobs, and was introduced to farmers markets, which is I wouldn't say that's not your main source of income.
No, but that is how.
It's like your gig, I would say.
Yeah, I've built the winery off the back of going to farmers markets and events, and I spent a lot of time at them, and I have a lot of expertise, I think, in that kind of realm.
So I was introduced to that just by chance, really. My sister, who is my business partner now, at the time she was doing her art at different just really small farmers markets. Met this couple of business owners there, expressed that I'd be interested in learning about what they do, because they do a lot of farm to table stuff that I really try to incorporate in my business. And then they just hired me. and I started working for them and met you.
Yep. So we were,
And that's the extent of me and my business.
well, that's how we met. Is you were working for this other company, and we were beside each other for the farmers markets, and we were beside each other. If you don't know how these work, the market kind of assigns you a spot, but they move you around if there's ever like, they need a space or whatever. Like if there's two bakeries at a market, they kind of put them across the market from each other typically, to kind of, spread it out, whatever. So we were in the same spot I was in the same spot all the time because I had kind of seniority, but you got moved into this spot beside me for like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. It wasn't very long. But it was just long enough for us to become friends, I guess.
Yeah, I would say so. I think right away I was like, I like this guy. I like what he's about. I hadn't really heard of you, but I knew of you.
You had actually bought from me before.
Yeah,
which is funny.
Crazy.
Like years before.
I've tried it, and I didn't realize that until I actually helped make the product.
Yeah.
Later, where I was like, "Oh my god, I've had this before."
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And I basically just immediately started being like, "Listen, I also want to be a business owner," and I think I told you my whole plan.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do it my entire life. This is probably something I should have mentioned before. Not that I've just been an employee forever. Since I can remember, I've wanted to own a bakery. I come from a family of business owners, but they're all in like the industrial side of it. They're all like welders or stuff like that. So I've seen it a lot. My dad did a startup in our garage. Now it's like a multi-million-dollar company. So I've always seen it. I've always wanted to be a part of it. And I saw that in you. I was like, this guy's successful. All right. Let's see if you'd want to help me out because I don't know what I'm doing. And so I think I just poured out my entire life story to you immediately while working.
Yeah.
And I think you liked it enough that you were like, all right.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And then towards the end of the season, we were at a different farmer's market, and I had a position open up at the winery to in like sampling and just like going to liquor stores and sampling customers. I had we wanted to get more into it in the summer. My part-time employee like went to school or whatever and stopped working for me, so I had a position open up. Yeah. And I don't even know if you had said to me that you wanted another job. I don't even know why I thought you should have another job.
Because I think I remember is that the company that I was working for, again, more seasonal stuff because it was a lot of farmers market, and I was also working full time at a bakery here in the city, just like doing a bunch of management stuff. And I think it was like the end of the season. I think I just like complained to you. I was like, I'm gonna lose out on hours. Like I'm gonna have so much time. Like what do I do? And then at the end of the market, you were like, hold up.
You want like I'm just trying to be casual. I'm like, you want like a job or whatever?
Yeah, like it'd be kind of cool. Like if you, I'll send you like the job posting or whatever. But
yeah,
you made me do an interview.
Yeah, like,
which
I don't know.
I guess fair, but I thought we were friends at that point.
I still stand by that.
I agree.
And then you started working for me. That was just coming up on 2 years ago,
which is insane.
It isn't.
It feels like 10 years and 2 months.
Yeah, I agree. At the same time. And then when I acquired this other company, we needed help with that too. So you kind of moved into a support role there.
Yeah.
Making running a certain department.
Yeah.
And then now that we're kind of growing both companies, you've kind of moved into a management role.
Yeah.
Not quite. Like we're still both in the weeds, and we both got to like make stamps and both got to bartend and stuff and do the lower leverage stuff. But we're kind of moving you into a more management position.
Yeah,
more or
absolutely. When I think of like for both jobs now, I mean it's like become more than full time. I think for both. Which is crazy that I was able to quit my very full-time job just to work for you, which I think is super cool.
Because you were also constantly worried about not having enough hours.
Yeah, and I jinxed myself.
You kept being like, "Oh, after this project's done, like, am I gonna have hours?" And they're like, "Oh, after the markets are done, am I gonna have hours? After this bar, like the renovation project's done, am I gonna have hours?" And then now you have like more than full time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made myself very useful. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think like for the most part, I think I've like kind of like had a hand at like trying a little bit of every role
Which I
at
think is
both your
important.
companies.
I think is important in business.
Which has been really, really fun because,
Yeah.
and I think I always tell you this too, is that this is the kind of employee that I've always wanted to be, but in most places they were like, bro, you're overstepping, and you're like, no, like I want to teach someone. And I'm like, please, because
Yeah.
this is like I get to learn all of this like essentially risk free.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, the weight is on yours and your business partner's shoulders,
Yes,
unfortunately.
it's true.
And I just get to have fun and be like, yeah, I'm a manager. It's
Yeah. And like, not to say that just for context, that like I know anything about anything. I'm making this up as I go along
I think
as well.
a fair bit.
But it's just nice to it's nice to be needed, Alyssa.
And I rely on you a lot.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I think especially too, because it's like we're not in like the same industry per se. But like a lot of the things that I'm struggling with right now is like stuff that you've already gone through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so
helps me
basically
out.
the plan for the podcast is we're not going to have any regular release schedule, but the idea would be when you have problems that you would want your mentor to help you with,
Yeah.
we're going to talk it out here.
Yeah. And oh man, do I have a list? You laugh. I have a list.
Well, is there anything else you want to say to the folks at home before we sign off?
I just hope it's also helpful, or they just get to laugh at us for not actually knowing anything.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, thank you for coming on this adventure with me. I'm talking to you and the audience at the same time.
Great.
You can catch Mentored wherever you get your podcasts, and probably have social media by the time you listen to this, and whatever.
Yeah.
Thank
Merch
you.
available when?
Merch available soon. So my name is Willows,
And I'm Alyssa.
and see you soon.
In the first episode, I guess. Thanks.